And I was reared from the Salesian school of St. John Bosco. And what was the practice? Well, to keep us busy, to keep us vigilant, and to keep us always attuned with God, no matter what we do. So I remember those school days. They were really my formation period, my molding period. You see, every day we have rosary. I don't know how many rosaries we have in the school. 7 o'clock, we gather together. After the flag ceremony, we have the rosary. Then, after the rosary, we have the Mass. And during the Mass, since it was Latin, we have to pray the rosary. Anyway, right after the Mass, we go to our classrooms. In the process of going to the classroom, we are not allowed to talk. We're supposed to be attuned with God. So again, we pray the rosary. Go to the classroom. We pray and we offer everything to the Lord. Then, the spiritual director or the confessor would knock at every room, every classroom. And he would ask, I am free for confession. Anybody of you who is in the state of mortal sin, please come down. And no teacher can interfere. The policy is to keep the soul spotless so that he will always be in union with God. So, long line of people would queue in for confession. Wow, I remember. Of course, the policy is go to confession once a week. But St. John Bosco used to say, look, if you think you have committed a mortal sin, don't wait for 1 week. Yes, we have our doctor's day. We have our checkup with the doctor, say once in 3 months. But don't tell me that when you have cancer, you'll have to wait for 3 months before you go to the doctor. If you do that, you're kaput, you're dead. So it's the same. You don't need to wait for 1 week before you go to confession. You have committed a masturbation or you have committed some rash judgment which is really silly and really offensive. Well, if you have offended the Lord, go right away to the priest. Sin is a disease. Seek the cure. Where? Confession. And so, we are put in this state so we can receive communion every day because confession is checking us from the sacrilegious communion by keeping our soul always clean. And then, during free time, what do? During free time, we always go to visit the Blessed Sacrament. We have, for instance, some contests. We have sodalities. Frequent visit to the Blessed Sacrament is awarded with honor. Of course, the motivation was not so good, but it was forming us how to be conscious of the presence of God. Could you imagine, with these 4 elements, rosary every day, confession almost every day, Mass every day, visit to the Blessed Sacrament 3 or 4 times, every time we have break time, we are supposed to pass by the Blessed Sacrament. How can you commit sin? You know what? At the end of the year, during the vocation campaign, we would be 50 in the class. The professor would ask, how many would like to become a priest? Out of 50, 49 will raise their hands. And they say, we want to be a priest. Only 1 would not want to be a priest. That's why we have so many vocations before. Why? Because, of course, you're so close to the Lord. Now, what has ruined society? The culture of death has ruined the society. It has entered the school. It has entered the home. Through the television, through the internet. You see smut, pornography. So young people, they are polluted spiritually with impure thoughts, impure actions. And remember what the Beatitude says, blessed are the pure, they will see God. Now let's invert that. Cursed be the impure, they will not see God. So it's very important of keeping the ecology spiritually clean. Could you imagine if this is your way of life, what kind of family you will have? The trust will become very, very strong. The fidelity to one another will become very strong. Remember, the family that prays together stays together.